This is Joanna from the Arts Council, and you're watching No Huntsville.
This episode of No Huntsville is brought to you by Straight to Ale Brewery. This is Tom.
This is Joe.
And this is No Huntsville. A very special episode today. We have another fest coming up here very soon. Next Saturday, April 18th, is STEAM Fest. We have the brain behind STEAM Fest, Philip Kovacs, here to talk about it. Philip, thanks for coming in and talking to us.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so
Thank you.
By the way, we have Straight to Ale sponsoring this show, so everybody give it up to Straight to Ale. Drink.
Thank you.
We're going to slam these right now. Go.
Negative.
All right, thanks to Straight to Ale for that. But let's go right into the STEAM Fest. This is the second annual STEAM Fest that you had. Big success the first one. You're hoping to even be bigger this time. So talk to us what STEAM Fest is really about.
STEAM Fest is a celebration of the science, technology, engineering, mathematics, and arts.
Right, which is the A.
Which is the A.
From STEM,
Correct.
Now making STEAM.
There's this national narrative about how important STEM is.
Right.
And I agree that we couldn't be having this conversation without science, technology, engineering, mathematics.
Exactly.
But there's also an art to what you're doing.
Right.
And leaving art behind is bad for the
Very
public.
bad.
Yeah, because design is in everything.
Correct.
And good design, which makes things more usable.
Correct.
And is just paramount to actually having some of the things that you want in life to work right.
Agreed 100%.
There you
And
go.
you could ask the folks at Straight to Ale, is brewing an art or is it a science?
I'm going to say it's art.
I'm gonna say science.
You're going to say science?
What's the brewer say?
What does the brewer? The brewer's here.
Hey, we have a brewer here. We're going to say what?
A little bit of both.
There you go.
Exactly.
That's what it is. And that's what this event is all about.
Correct.
It's recognizing there's a little bit of both and everything.
Absolutely.
And that's what you're going to celebrate here. And it's a big thing for the kids, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, this year we gave out 600 Pinewood Derby kits to 8th graders in Huntsville City Schools.
Right.
So they could talk about principles inside of mathematics and science through constructing Pinewood Derby race cars.
So when we build this, what's going to happen?
When they build the car itself, they're talking about rate, distance equals rate times time. I know you memorized that formula when you were in school.
I knew that.
Right, but now we're actually seeing it in action on a racetrack. And this racetrack is a little different than the standard Pinewood Derby racetrack, which I don't know if you ever did it. It's a slow roll. It's this like little angle. This is going to be 56 degrees out of the third floor.
Right.
Of
This is some
Mill.
Fast and Furious stuff we're talking
It
about.
is, and it's got the potential to be projectile weapons flying off the end of that track.
Which is the indication of a really good track.
Yeah.
Right?
Agreed. Maybe not for people at the bottom of the track.
Well, they're going to have to be sign waivers, I'm sure.
Yeah, well, or we're going to put saran wrap or chicken wire or something over wherever the projectiles are exiting.
So at the fest, there's this large construction of this speedway now that you're going to start from the third floor?
Correct.
And it's going to go all the way down to the ground.
Correct.
Wow.
And last I checked, it's being suspended by ropes now. So there's a superstructure holding the base and then ropes holding it at the middle.
Wow.
Man, that's great.
Suspension ramp.
So it's going to be a big draw for the kids. Obviously, when they get there, they're going to see that and probably flip, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it'll be cooler for the kids who have made it through qualifying rounds with their Pinewood Derby cars. So there'll be 20 kids from 6 schools who have gone through preliminary races and will be racing on the big track.
Right.
Nice.
Which is going to be intense.
That's going to be great. There's a lot of cool events here, but I want to back up a little bit and talk about what got you to start this fest. I mean, obviously it's because Huntsville is a great place for engineering and obviously art, but what got you thinking about putting an event together like this?
Working on a grant with Huntsville City Schools. It was actually funded by the DOD. And the grant was to improve math scores for kids in the city. So the approach we took was, let's build math into some sort of thing that you can use instead of just, when I took math, it was, okay, here are the even questions in the textbook. You're going to do the even questions in class today. When you go home, you're going to do the odd questions.
Yeah.
And everyone in here is laughing because you took math. And that's just, that's a really ridiculous way to teach math. So what we did last year was actually this project called Geometries, where we took 1-foot dowels and we had students cut different geometric shapes and make these trees out of these dowels.
Okay.
And then talk about the area, the perimeter, the ratio, proportion on the trees that they had constructed. And then the coolest trees, as voted on by the peers of kids making them, were fabricated into 7-foot tall steel statues by high school
Nice.
students.
Wow.
Yeah, they're pretty amazing, actually.
Are they on display somewhere?
They
People
are-
go see them?
I think actually, shame on us. I think they're still sitting at that high school. But there was 1,000 of these geometries at the Space and Rocket Center on display last year. So this year it was, okay, what are we going to do instead? And we thought Pinewood Derby, but sort of on steroids.
Right.
You know, not the traditional slow roll, which people have seen forever, but this dramatic drop, and ideally not a projectile weapon flying off the bottom of that ramp.
And which is cool because you're an educator and you're kind of seeing the thing. When being an educator, you get to kind of see the things that are working and not working.
Yeah.
And it seems like you want to get kids more involved in, but also have them put them in practical situations, but be hands-on.
Yeah,
Right? And
absolutely.
actually not have theoretical math,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
actually have practiced math,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
In engineering and all that science.
Absolutely. So there are, 46% of statistics are made up on the spot.
Right.
There are roughly 20% of your kids who drop out of high school drop out because they're bored, right?
Yeah.
It's just not engaging enough for them. So you take a student, and I met this student doing research a couple years ago who loves drift racing, hates math, hates science, hates history, but can talk to you for days on end about drift racing, about the tires, about the engines, about the gas.
Right.
And you're thinking, wow, what if drift racing was the center of his sort of educational universe? And it was like, okay, a week from today, you're going to stand up and you're going to a presentation on the 5 qualities of what makes an excellent drift racer.
Right.
So all of a sudden he's doing history and he's speaking intelligently in front of you, right? So he's investigating and he's like, well, you got to go to the science teacher because I want you to explain to me why tires are so important. And then all of a sudden he's talking about like density and why you've got to have these really thick tires or hard tires so they'll slide faster. And now he's doing math and science.
Right.
And he's super excited about it. And he doesn't hate going to school because it's got some sort of meaningful end for him, which is when I'm done at the end of the day, I'm smarter about drift racing or cooking or brewing beer. Obviously not.
The more
for
practical,
kids.
bringing it into a practical sense.
Right.
Right. And how far off the wall can I go here? Am I free to go as far as possible?
We were drinking beer. So.
Okay, so the sort of edifice of school itself, do we still need it as it looks now? No, absolutely not.
Right.
Because knowledge is no longer limited to giant textbooks
Right.
or buildings where they're housed. You can, if you're smart enough, and there are plenty of 6th graders, 5th graders, 4th graders who are smart enough to use this handheld computer to get online.
My kindergarten kid,
Right.
he can do all of it.
To get online and find information.
Yeah.
So the next question is, how do we help kids organize information into sort of meaningful chunks so they're creating a narrative or a portfolio or a story of composition, right, about how they're integrating and evolving into the universe.
Wow.
Did I lose you on that one? Is that
No, it's pretty amazing.
I'm just going to drink this beer.
Well, I think, though, the point is that not all kids learn the same way.
That is correct.
They're not a cookie cutter sort of
That's how
situation.
kids get left behind.
No, that's exactly right. And the technology now is enabling us to recognize some of that and actually
Yeah.
do something about it. And I think that's what I think is that this kind of festival kind of celebrates that.
Yeah.
And kind of realizes we don't have to all think the same way. We don't have to be in this box of education. We can actually cater to how people learn differently.
Right.
And actually exploit that, which
Right.
is really cool.
You also meet people that are really excited about it too, like
Yeah, this guy.
Yeah,
I'm a little
I mean,
excited about this stuff. It is
it's
cool.
it's
People-
awesome.
we need more people
you
excited
make
about
the
this
kids
stuff.
more excited about
And-
it.
and having-
you always remember those teachers, you
Right,
know?
right, and I can name off 3 or 4 of
Yeah.
them that I had that were excited about education that made me think different, right?
Yeah.
And all of us being parents can really gravitate toward that and understand it.
Yeah, my kid with math and video games, he
Yeah.
has picked up math so quick because he's had to learn how and impulse control and metacognition and patience, right? So he can beat
Right.
these games. He's like, oh, I've got to save this much money so I can get this next level up.
There
and
you
I'm
go.
thinking, man, you're in kindergarten.
Yeah,
Right.
Wow.
playing Grand Theft Auto.
Not so much, but
Yeah.
Clash of Clans has been on
Yeah.
Epic Replay at the home. They're making
There you go.
a good bit of money from us.
All right, so if we didn't mention before, it's April 18th, which is this coming up Saturday.
Correct.
It's from 12 to 4.
Yes.
You're going to have all kinds of food there. You're going to have the vendor or other artists at Low Mill going to be participating, right?
Correct.
So what are some of the other things that kids will see when they come to the festival?
Okay, outside of the giant racetrack.
We talked about that.
All right, we've got Sub-Zero ice cream. They make ice cream with liquid nitrogen out in Madison City.
Wow.
They're going to attempt the unofficial Guinness record for the fastest liter of ice cream, which is less than 10 seconds to make a liter of ice cream.
Dang.
Now, it's unofficial. We were going to have Guinness come out, but they wanted travel money. And I'm thinking, why would we pay for airfare and a hotel when there are so many other good stouts out there besides Guinness? Not a good one. There's no reason to pay them to come out in this day and age when we can put 10 people with cameras and video recorders.
Exactly.
We can say, we've got you authenticated. We've got you. We don't need to fly somebody out from England.
That's a racket.
Wow.
From Guinness.
From Guinness. All right, so we have that. We have the ice creams. Give some else.
We have a room full of micro drones. So the drones are smaller than the size of my hand, and basically there's 10, and there's some soccer nets, and it'll be totally safe. There will be an ambulance at the event this year. You'll bring your kids up to this room, to the classroom, and you'll get a quick tutorial on how to work it, and then basically you'll be set free in this giant space to try to get through a hula hoop, try to land on a bucket.
Nice.
So little kids will have the opportunity to break thousands of dollars worth of
Nice.
in the drone room. Intuitive Research, one of our sponsors this year, making the track possible, actually we'll have the Oculus Rift 3D immersive glasses.
Yeah, wow.
Last year they had that out. Long line for that. Super impressive. The roller coaster feels like a real roller coaster.
Nice.
So definitely going to want to check that out. Who does the guitar, the steel box guitars?
That's Nichols. Yeah, John Nichols over at Cigar Box Guitars.
Yep.
A friend of the show, by the way.
He will be making those with kids who get out there early and on time.
That guy's awesome.
Yeah, he is.
He's a really good guy.
He is. At the end of the event last year when we were cleaning up the e-book, though, he was pointing at me and laughing.
Why is that?
I'm not exactly sure. I'm going to have to bring that up. He's awesome, but I'm going to have to look back into that incident. It just flashed back to me that, I was carrying these buckets of this waste material. Who else we got out there? There are some people with lasers. There's going to be a wind tunnel that you can actually stand in. You're getting some glasses to protect you from.
So you get
wind.
and drones and cars coming.
Well, the
over.
drones will be There's some netting,
Oh, okay.
so that's going to be totally safe.
Everything is going to be safe.
Everything.
Bring the kids out. It's going to be fine.
Everything will be safe. Knock on
It's
this
science,
piece of wood,
man.
right?
Science and
exactly.
art. That's never safe. It's fun, dude.
Yeah.
All right, so again, that's April 18th, Steam Fest from 12 to 4 over at Low Mill next Saturday. It was a great event the first time. Congratulations. It's going to be. It seems like it's going to be a bigger event this time.
Yep.
They're early.
I can't imagine a better cause for kids to come out and hang out. People out there should bring their kids and let them kind of get introduced to science, technology, engineering, mathematics, and art, right? Because that's the big point of it all. And I just really thank you for coming out. It's really been fun hanging out
Yeah, it
with
was awesome,
you.
man.
My pleasure. I'm glad that most of that happened before.
Yeah, exactly.
You guys need to check out these posters too. They're really beautifully done. They're
local
really
artists
cool.
took care of those posters for
Logan
you too,
Tanner.
right? Logan Tanner, there you go.
Really
so again,
cool.
you can check out more information if you go to Low Mill's website at lowmill.net. There's information there. And thanks so much, Philip, for coming in. I loved hanging out with you. I loved talking about it. And I hope we can have you come back and talk more about education because I think it's such an important thing. And then we'll probably have you on to talk about the 3rd annual STEAM Fest, probably.
Perfect.
All right. Thanks for coming in.
My pleasure.
All right. You did good.
Thank you so much.
You did all right.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, it was
Appreciate
great, man.
You didn't mess up at all.
Very good.
I don't know that we have to edit anything.
All right.